Hi, it's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. Now, there are two primary types of meetings. I mean, there are lots of kinds of meetings, but there are two types of meetings that we're going to talk about today. And this is recurring meetings, meetings that, are on your schedule every week or a couple times a week, once a month, et cetera. And there are ad hoc meetings, those meetings that people put on your calendar about a specific thing, or you need to talk about something, we schedule a meeting, et cetera. And actually, we're not really going to be talking about those recurring meetings. I have talked a lot about recurring meetings and how to do a meeting audit to make sure that you got the right things on the calendar and that your calendar isn't kind of just additive with all these new recurring meetings all the time. That is a subject for other videos. But today I want to talk about these ad hoc meetings. Ad hoc meetings are the type of meetings, that sometimes make you want to groan a little bit, right? It's like you looked at your calendar this morning and you're like, oh, great. I'd block some time to do this really important thing I need to do. And I see that so-and-so has put some time on my calendar in that time. Now, when am I going to get this thing done? Right. Or maybe you're a manager and you just have lots of people who are asking for your time all the time. And because we are now in these kind of remote and hybrid instances and environments where we really, we don't have a good way, right? Or we're not using a good way of just like a knock on the door and, hey, do you have 5 minutes? We schedule a meeting now. That is also a topic for another video. But we are in a lot of meetings, right? And a lot of these are these ad hoc meetings that just show up on your calendar, that kind of ruin your schedule. You're like, oh, really? Do I really need to do this? And they wreak havoc on any kind of plans that you have. Now, we live in the real world. There's always going to be some ad hoc meetings that need to happen, et cetera. But I want to share with you a strategy that you can use to make this a little less painful, right? Because when you have made a plan and then you show up to your day and all that time has just been eaten into with ad hoc meetings that have shown up on your calendar, that can be really frustrating and it can cause you to work late or into the evenings, and that's no fun. So, I want to share a strategy, and it's actually a strategy that we're going to pull from our college days, right? We're going to pull this strategy from our professors. And this strategy is called office hours, right? So, if you have people who need your time, need ad hoc time on a regular basis, office hours is a way to meet that need, but also protect your schedule at the same time. And so, what do we mean by office hours? Office hours is just when you designate some time on your calendar for specifically the ad hoc needs of other people, right? If you remember back to college, right, your professors, they had office hours. They would post it and say, okay, my office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 4. And you knew that you could go to your professor during those hours. They would be in their office. Yeah, maybe you'd have to wait because, they were talking to someone else, but you would be able to sit outside their office. When they were ready, they would take you in, you would be able to get your questions answered, have a one-on-one conversation, etc. Office hours, right? Your professors were not endlessly available to you at all hours of the day. They were available during office hours. And so this is something that you can try as well. It's not going to be as rigid, right? We live in the real world, but it's something you can try. So how do you actually enact this if you want to try it? Well, there are a few ways. Let's say you work in an old school office and most of your meetings are in person, right? Well, you could do it kind of professor style, right? You could post office hours on your door. You could put them in your email signature and just say, like, here's when I'm available. Please, if you can, stop by during these hours, right? That's one way. But probably the way that most of us are doing it these days, because a lot of us are hybrid or remote, is in a more technological sort of a way. So there are tools that are available to help us do this. Now, if you are in the Gmail world, Gmail and Google Calendar actually has a facility to do this, a functionality to do this. It's called appointment slots, right? And what you can do is you can create a set of appointment slots. So maybe it's once a week you want to have a few hours, or maybe it's an hour or a few times a week, whatever it is. You just set whatever schedule you want. And then you send people this link or you have it available to them, and they're able to book slots during that. You could set it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you think people might need, right? So you could set these appointment slots. Or if you're not using Google Calendar, you can also use any other scheduling tool. So I use Calendly for this. Lots of people use other, Mixmax or other kind of scheduling tools. And what you can do is you can create a link that says, like, recurring on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 4. If you want to be just like your professors, right? You have these times available. So you can block it so that, it's not like you're giving people all of your time. You're really saying, these are the hours that I'm going to designate for this. Now, what happens if you don't have those hours booked up. Well, great. Now you have more time to do all the other stuff that you wanted. But the other side of this, right, is that you are containing those requests to a certain degree. Now or I can see you shaking your head and saying, this is not going to work for me. Like there's this, how could I do this? Right. And I get it, right? Any kind of change or anything, it seems kind of wild. But I think you could try. And I think that you'll find that it is a little easier to implement than you think, but that also there are going to be some exceptions. Are you going to make exceptions to this rule, to these office hours? Yes, you are, right? You live, work with other people, and they have needs and schedules, and you might just find that none of your office hours work for whoever it is that is trying to schedule a meeting with you. That's okay, right? It's so much better to have that be the exception than the norm, right? Let's say 80% of the ad hoc meetings could fit into the office hours. How much more freedom would that give you in your schedule? Even 50% of them, if they fit in there, that would cause a lot less havoc on your schedule. So I think you can try it, and I think you'll be surprised at how well it works, but just be open to the fact that you are going to have to make some exceptions, right? Now, the other consideration that you might have is if you work in like a very hierarchical workplace, you probably don't want to like make your boss or your boss's boss use your office hours. Like that might come off maybe not the way that you want it to, maybe a little inflexible. Usually, when we're in a more hierarchical sort of environment, we are capitulating to the people who are above us in that organization. So, this might be something that in that case you would use with your peers or with your direct reports. And maybe you're not going to use it with people who are above you in the organization. It's just going to be something that you're going to need to gauge for yourself about what is appropriate within your organization. But this is a strategy that with peers and with your direct reports can work really, really well. So I want to know, have you tried this before? Has it worked for you? If you haven't tried it, are you willing to consider it? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this kind of content, if you want to keep getting it, please make sure to subscribe. And if this video resonated with you, please give it a like. It's really important to me to understand what types of things you want and want to see more of. And so giving it a like can let me know that, yeah, this was something that was valuable to you. Thanks so much and see you next time.
Hi guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe because only about 14% of the people that watch our videos are actually subscribed. Thank you.